Well, we are in Eilat now, and we are at the historic site of Rash Rash. And
they're giving us quiet for 5 minutes.
We have quiet 5 minutes.
On the 5th of March, 1949, okay, Israel decided, Ben Gurion and the staff decided to send out what was called Mifsa Uvda operation, facts on the ground, which sent 2 groups of soldiers, one down the Jordan Valley, that was the goal. They left from Yerucham on the 5th of March. Another group of Negev soldiers that eventually became paratroopers. They came through the Negev desert, part of it through the Uvda Valley, much harder terrain, much more difficult, and they had a few more obstacles along the way, eventually arriving in Eilat. The objective was to claim Eilat for the Jewish state. As we've seen until now, the entire status of Eilat was unclear. The Negev was supposed to be part of the Jewish state in the partition plan of November 1947. But as we've seen along as past since November 1947, people have forgotten that. The borders have been basically based on what? Facts on the ground. Where it is. Now there were places that were exchanged at the end. Fallujah and others. We'll talk about that when we learn about it, but Eilat was a question. Now Eilat was not a city. There was Aqaba across the way over there. There was Taba in Egypt, but in between there was empty beach, except for a small British police station, which was called Rash Rash. There were about 4 buildings like this one up on the hills. The other 3 buildings were destroyed to build these beautiful hotels. And somebody said, you know what, maybe we should leave one for just remembering what happened. And that's this one. They actually destroyed part of it and rebuilt it, but that's the idea. I mean, there were a few buildings like this. That's all that was here. Everything else was completely empty. So story goes the beginning of the 5th of March. Both groups start out it. It was kind of a race. Yigal Alon, we're going to hear his name a few times, was the commander of this mission, and they set off on their races. Who gets here first? The Negev Brigade. You guys know I was in Golani, so there's all these stories that they put traps and they put each one tried to trip the other up. They're not exactly true. The Negev Brigade got here fair and square. The only problem is when they got here, there wasn't a flag. So Yisrael Adin takes out a sheet and they do an ink flag from either the grease, there's a few different stories, the grease of the Jeep. They put up the flag, they raise the flag, and they claim this for Israel. And that is the story of Eilat. There will be a little dispute of exactly where the border goes near Taba, and until 1997 in arbitration in the UN, there was still a dispute. The border with Aqaba and with Jordan was pretty much established, and that's where the Rabin crossing is, and we'll see that right near the bird watching place on Tuesday morning. So this again is called Mifsa
Rash Rash.
It is the place is called Rash Rash. It's March 1949, and it's just before the final talks in Rhodes, where the Moshe Dayan and the Egyptian and Arab generals come to the final, not a peace plan, but a ceasefire, armistice. An armistice agreement. There was not a peace plan. It was an armistice agreement where they decided to draw not borders, but lines of ceasefire, armistice lines. Okay, the only borders we have are after the peace treaties, which is after the peace treaty with Egypt, after the peace treaty with Jordan, and who knows what's going to be with Syria and with Lebanon. Things are still up in the air over there. In any case, this is Rash Rash. So are you going to come here with tourists? Probably not. But you're going to drive by when you go to the southern beaches, and you're going to go there, and they're going to ask, what is this thing? If you want, we can add, they can finally hear the story. They have where is it? They have a little, do they still work? Where is it? They have a recording. Does it still work? They might have moved it. In any case, they did have a recording here that used to tell the story. And, well, no, it's fine. We got the main idea. In any case, this is the story. That's the story of Rash Rash. We will have someone who's going to prepare a little bit more and show us the maps and add a little bit things.
Can you go back about the 4 buildings?
There were more buildings here,
Okay.
but there were so many. Listen, a lot's development, and Don will talk about it tomorrow,
Okay.
the development of this city, because there was nothing here.
Okay.
From 1950s, there's nothing here.
Okay.
It started as just a residence for the workers in the mines of Timna. That's what started here, until some British, South African Ole had this great idea, let's build hotels and bring Europeans that are looking for sun.
No, but the British, he was asking, is like,
The
where is
British
it?
were here, this was just a border stop. And there was nobody here, it was empty.
So what did they have to, which
The
buildings
four-
did they?
four-
There were like 4 or 5 buildings
Okay.
even. But those were scattered over here.
I see.
And they were just destroyed in the development that
Okay.
nobody thought it was important when they were building it. And then Rash Rash, no one's really sure why it's called Rash Rash. What does Rash Rash mean?
Nothing. It's the name
is the
of-
mother of...
Maybe there was one called
We don't
Mother of
really
Rash
know.
Rash.
They called it Rash
We
Rash.
don't really know. Like sprinkle. There are a few different stories, but no one really has a good explanation. But that's what it is. Okay, אפשר את המוזיקה, תודה.